Yes, sir. What's up, guys?
Yes. This DJ will kick the floor in three, two, one.
Hello and welcome to Mzansi. We are back again. It is that time where we have to close it as usual.
Yebo.
But rest assured, we have a lot to go through. There is Baxter. As much as this case has been dragged to this postponement for me, this is according to me, obviously. We've got a lot to go through. And then people will say, hey, this is not good. This is not good practice. For a case that has been dragged this much, people seem to be dragging feet. And
In 9 years.
And people are saying, give them time. South Africa. Hey, South Africa.
You're la patient.
We are patient, Vele.
You're la too understanding.
That's why Vele sizosithola sikwenye indawo ngelinye ilanga. So we will wake up without anything. But that is none of my business, though. Let us roll, Emily. For those who do not know me, I go by the name of Mr. Anonymous. And yes, I do talk. And then, other than that, please subscribe, like the video, share the video as usual. It's Friday today. It's a relaxed day.
Yeah.
No one is probably in a hurry unless you are working tomorrow. And we are considerate of that. You obviously have to leave us along the way.
Yeah.
We are doing what we have to do.
Yes, someone has to do it.
Yeah. All right. Let's go.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Zandi Reality YouTube channel. I'm your host Emily and welcome. Okay, so today, a lot was going on with Zandi's testimony, but let me get into it right now. Before I get into it, Advocate Sichaba Mamweb and B. Munyikiman stood up for Advocate Zandile Mshololo today. Apparently, she had other engagements.
Other engagements. Okay. So I will sort that one out. Just a small beep. But while we are doing that, Emily, let me sort you out before you start doing your things on my things. Yeah, you can now. You can sort it out, whatever that you needed to sort it out.
Yeah, she had other engagements.
You can sort it out.
What do you think about Advocate not showing up at a time like this?
I know that people are saying that Mshololo is a kankara. They are kankara.
She's a hero.
She's the hero. For me, I'm not sold as yet. I haven't been sold for a while from the beginning. I'm still not sold. And I'll tell you why I'm not sold. This is a nice case to have. This is a good case to have. This is a case that you would look forward to have in your profile, which is very nice to have such a case. But other than that, are we doing this case to actually sell ourselves or to just push time? I know Advocate Mshololo's accused number 5 is already there doing the life and whatever that might be happening.
Yeah.
So to me, she seems like she doesn't care about this case. I know that people are saying, hey, we need Mshololo. I've been saying, I would take the 3 men any day, any time. I would take those 3 men without a doubt, because I know for sure that they are going to push. My worry, as they've postponed this case, Emil, before we get into it, is that they might come back. We might come back and not see these people because they've been troublesome. They've been pain. So we might come back and not see them. I don't know what is an arrangement and how they are getting paid to actually do this case, and that is my worry. Exactly my worry.
That would be catastrophic.
But I know for sure Mshololo is gonna be there, either through company or what. But Mshololo is gonna be there. That you can rest assured of. But the 3 guys, I'm not sure if they are coming back or in full swing like everyone else. Emil, you can continue. But this is my thinking, Emil. I feel like the dragging and these guys, they were poking too much holes.
Yeah.
they were starting to become a liability. Because, I mean, we were cruising, the state was cruising
Nicely.
when it was your TTs. And
Yeah.
for me, state, I felt
It was all about decorum. Decorum of the court.
They were cruising nice. But now we are in this situation where these guys seemingly
Respect decorum.
they are just killing it and killing the vibe. I know your favorite advocate is still gonna be there, but the first three, or let's say the first three, are they still gonna be there? I'm not sure.
Re tla bona ka di 12th tsa June.
Let us
That's
see.
how long we have to wait.
The longer they drag it, the harder it becomes for other advocates to maintain that, because they need to make money, obviously.
Okay, so now the state witness Zandile Lorraine Kumalo continued with her evidence in chief. Zandile Kumalo was taken through pictures of the bathroom. She said she ran into after the first shot was fired. Zandi says there's a basin near the bathroom door and she squatted beneath there when she hid. Thank goodness she wasn't asked to demonstrate. She says she did this to push the door closed had the alleged intruders tried to enter, as well as hide from a criminal passing outside the window. So Zandi said, I then slightly opened the door to peep. I only took out my head. As I was peeping like that, I saw Senzo coming from the kitchen. Baloyi showed her a sketch plan and she said it was a short distance from the bathroom door to the entry between the kitchen and the dining room. Baloyi approximated from the sketch that it's 2 meters. And Zandi said as Senzo was walking fast, he put his hands on his chest, slightly bent forward, as if he was going to crawl, going to hide in the middle of the sofas, the one where she was sitting on. So she says he was wearing a blue pair of jeans, a white t-shirt, and white sneakers.
Yes.
Baloyi pulled up a picture of the living room which shows the couch near a TV stand. Zandi said that Senzo knelt down between the TV stand and the couch. I don't know, guys.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I am starting to have a problem with not being shown the pictures. I can take not seeing Zandi's face, but then those details of where she points are very important.
Yeah. Look, I'm just going to create maybe an example for you.
Okay.
We are told about the sound. By the way, Amen, I think I thought I was hallucinating when I heard that. First, Senzo had his hands on the chest, run like crawling, as you said. Was it crawling?
She said ngezulu. Kana, what's the word
And
in
then
Zulu?
she said also just around that crawling, running. There was running there.
She said she was walking fast.
Yeah.
He was walking fast. That's what she started with.
Yes. That is a confusion for me, because this is someone who's holding here and in their chest and like that's and
It's a lot going on.
And here we are building with this third bullet. The build up. Remember, let us remind you where you were left. You were left on the third bullet. Emily, leave that. You were left on the third bullet. That we didn't know of for a while.
Yes.
And then what happened is, from that dead bullet, we were told about the change of the sound. That is to allude that that was the bullet that took Senzo's life.
Doof.
Yeah. And then from there, we are told about peeping. The problem I have is that peeping. So this person is peeping. Imagine, maybe to make the sketch easier for you, let me say the toilet is almost
Yeah.
opposite to a sitting room entrance. That is where I would put it.
Yeah.
And then
It's next door to the kitchen.
next door to the kitchen. But you cannot see the full size or the full size of the kitchen. This person is peeping. She sees Senzo passing. She sees everyone passing. And there's an intruder passing. We are peeping.
Yes, you are peeping.
So that means that intruder passed by that door, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they
So
did.
you were peeping when you were
Yeah.
seeing that intruder passing there, and then that intruder just didn't even look on your side.
No.
They just passed while the door is opened a bit.
What a
You
lucky
peeping.
woman.
She's a lucky woman. She is a lucky woman.
Lucky.
She's a lucky woman. That's why then the sketch are not gonna be shown. Because
Yeah, now I'm shocked. I'm like, with Tumelo's testimony, we were shown sketches. Mtogo at the beginning, I think we were shown sketches where he was pointing. But with this witness, no more sketches. Why?
Mm-hmm.
And we're supposed to keep quiet like nothing is happening.
as we were told that we are supposed to keep quiet. But that is my worry. Because we could have just seen that from the word go. There's something wrong here. You can't be peeping Wena forever. You even see Kaylee coming back. You see your mother coming back afterwards. You see everyone. Even then the last person that you saw is
she
an
saw
intruder.
everything that happened as she
So
was
basically,
in the
you had a
bathroom.
clear view. You're as good as not hiding, in a sense. That's that's what I'm trying to say. This is someone who's just had a gun shot in front of her, and then she ran for her life. And then in that process, she's peeping, and then she's peeping to even see the person following her family going the other side. She's peeping to see Zandi balancing Senzo. Kaylee balancing Senzo. It's a movie, man.
It is.
It's a movie.
It's an unbelievable movie.
We're in America right now.
Wow. And on top of that as well, I'm just thinking, because I know there are some people who are going to have something negative to say or counter argue what I've just stated. But imagine you are Sfiso right now. And you are very interested in this witness and what they have to say, because they were inside the house. Not only were they inside the house, but they had the most moments with your relative before they passed on.
Yeah.
They are the ones who spend the most time.
They are the last thing to actually paint the last moments. They are the last people to paint the last moment of what happened.
And you are not even shown
And they are
sketches
not shown sketches
of where they are pointing. Think about that. So Zandi then said, while I was still in the bathroom, then came Kelly, my mother, and the suspect who had dreadlocks. Kelly stood behind Senzo. My mother stood right next to the couch, and she took a phone that was charging around the area. So when she indicated the area, she spoke of a armrest on the couch or a TV stand. She's not sure which is which, where the phone was. And that is when the intruder noticed she had a phone, and he elbowed her on the abdomen, simply said on the stomach, and she fell onto the couch.
Okay. I'm just going to bring it now in any case, because we might not say it along the way.
Okay.
Do you remember the interview of, I don't know whether Kaylee, where he said, I thought he was hugging me.
He came towards me. I thought he was hugging me. It's on the documentary, by the way, guys, if you want to.
Yeah.
It's in the documentary.
Zandi is saying that this man who was hugging had hands on the chest.
Yes.
Which is a contradiction of the hug. Perhaps what I would like to know now is her position again, because we need to redo the position.
Yes.
Where did you think he was hugging you? And I think it's said there where it was happening, all this thing. In
And
that
she said
area.
she thought she was coming to hug her. This
And
is
in my-
Kelly.
yeah, in my
this
thinking-
is Kelly, by the way. She said Senzo was coming as if she's going to hug her, and then he fell on top of her. And then she
Exactly.
realized that he had been shot.
Exactly.
So what Zandi has just described is totally different from that audio clip that's in the documentary.
According to Zandi, what happened until Senzo was down on the floor? It's that he was shot, and then he came from the kitchen, and then he
with his
crawled
hands
with his
on
hands
his
on the
chest.
chest, putting pressure there until the sitting room, and then that's where he
Between the
fell
TV
between
stand and the couch.
which is kind of aligning. That's it. So I'm saying this so that we keep it in mind when it's the day for another one to come.
He took the phone and left the house after hitting Kelly's mom in the stomach area with an elbow, the first intruder, the one with the dreadlocks. At that time, Kelly was helping Senzo, who was between the couch and the TV stand. After he had taken the cell phone, he turned around and walked towards the kitchen. While he was doing that, I presumed he was coming to me. Remember now, she's peeping. And I then closed the bathroom door.
Yeah.
She says she opened the door and peeped again because of a silence interval. She says I then looked and saw that the man with the dreadlocks, so the first intruder, was not there.
Yeah.
He had vacated the house.
Yeah.
Adding the lights were on in the house and it was visible.
Contrary to what was said by
Tumi. Tumelo Madlala.
Most of the things that were happening to
He doesn't
Tumi
remember whether the lights
does not
were on or
remember
off.
that much of the lights and that. The only lights that he remembered is a sitting room one.
Yes.
No,
TV.
it's a kitchen one, I think.
Or is the kitchen one
Yeah.
and the TV light in
And
the
the TV
in the
light,
sitting room
yeah.
area.
Yeah. So those are the things that we are looking at.
She then says, I then went out of the bathroom. I turned my head to look at the kitchen. I realized that there was no one. I then proceeded where Kelly and Senzo were at. I then asked what had happened. Kelly then told me that Senzo is bleeding and that he had been shot. When I looked down, I saw the blood and I saw that it was red on his t-shirt.
Yeah.
At the time, Senzo was trying to breathe, but it was difficult for him. She says, I then remembered that the intruder said they wanted cell phones and money. Then she remembered that she hid her phone under the cushion. You know, not Mr. Interpreter, like the way he made me dizzy. He was saying cushion or something like that.
Something.
Cushion.
But what English never loved us.
It's
What-
not about the English. It's about
we,
cushion.
No,
I thought he was saying
the
kitchen.
main thing that you should say directly is that you would like to have
I would like to have Jonas back.
that's it.
Bab Jonas Yakolisa.
That's it.
I need you to come back to the
Yeah, that's it. You don't need to because
You
are-
really made my typing job very, very flowy. Today wasn't flowy. I'm a question. What is a
it's
question?
okay. Let's pass.
And the heavy English as well. I'm sorry, but I have to say the abdomen, the torso, the heavy words that he was using. Oh my God. But then moving on, she says when the alleged demands were made by the intruders. So she remembered that her phone was underneath the cushions, you know, when the intruders were asking for them. You know, I then went and retrieved my phone from the cushion. She is pointing to the area in the middle of the 3-seater couch where she said before the alleged intruders walked in. Okay, of course, we don't have privilege of seeing all of this. Okay, this is according to the people that were in the courts. She says, I tried to dial, but because I was in shock, I couldn't remember the number I was trying to call. Then Advocate Baloyi asked, what number did you want to call? Then Zandi said, I wanted to call 10-111. But because I had a mental block, I couldn't remember it. Whilst at that...
She had a mental block, but she remembered the phone that she hid, by the way, when these people were entering. And that's what maybe you didn't mention there. She hid the phone when these people were entering. At the entrance of these people, she hid her phone. And she remembered after that that she needed to go and take out that phone. And the exiting of from the bathroom, looking on the side of the kitchen to check whether the guy is there. That is brave for someone who was hiding. and then from there checking everything and the coast, and then you go check on your sister. That is very brave for someone who was hiding without anyone alerting them to say, hey, come out now, everything is fine, or I think come help us, these people are gone. You just like Mtogo felt the need that it's the time now for me to actually show myself after hiding, like everyone else. Maybe better Tumi, because Tumi was locked inside the house. He needed someone to open the door. It was impossible to open the door, as he alleged that it was.
He also had a phone while he was locked in there.
He had a phone. He blacked out also. I think same as Zandi blacked out, and
they
people
couldn't remember 10
and Mapir blacking out, and so
everyone
as the
was
daughter,
blacking out.
Everyone just it's a blackout,
lights out,
like the camera blackout type of a thing.
I'm not judging yet. Whilst at that, frantic as I was, she said, I thought I should go out to seek help. The phone was taken, was Kelly's cell phone. It was a black Samsung S4. So she says, I didn't see Mtogo leaving the house, but he left the house also. I then left the yard and went to Mapiri's house, knowing that she was my mother's friend. Her house was on the other side of the street.
You know, there could be a theory right there that you can put into that. Why you couldn't see Mtogo, because the door was closed. And then you only realize that Mtogo is not in the house when the Nkabis left, or when the intruders left. It could be that Mtogo left with those people. You know, it's a huge maybe. I'm just saying this because I think this is where the story was kind of heading to. You know, because the door was closed, and these people live. You don't know how Mtogo left. So as Tumelo doesn't know how Mtogo left.
Yep.
You remember everything. You remember how long went out, but Mtogo is a missed person. You don't know how Mtogo left the house. And that is in line with everyone else who took that car back to the house from the hospital. Let me put it like that.
She said, I wouldn't say it is directly opposite my house, but rather the direct opposite of our neighbors, Ngache's house.
Ngache is the same name, yes.
I then left the house, and remember, Ngache is the neighbor whose statement was used by the defense to explain what had happened when Mtogo jumped their wall. Or jumped the small gate.
Yeah.
Yes. So she says, I then left the house and proceeded to Mapiri's house. When I got to Mapiri's house, I found that she was standing outside. Her sister's daughter, Ntabiseng, the niece, was talking to a motorist at the time. I'm not sure about her surname. Now, what I'd like to know is, Ntabiseng, was she talking to a motorist outside the yard or inside the yard?
And what I would like to know is that also, Mapiri, you are outside, Mos. Did you hear before? Because seemingly, go Mapiri, it was a usual day. It was a usual. It's opposite the neighbor. All the action, Mtogo running, all the action could have been seen by Mapiri. Mapiri needs to answer that part, because isn't it that she's gonna be there?
Now, please note that Maggie Piri's name has featured in the trial since the testimony of the state's first witness, Sergeant Thabo Musia, in April last year. And Advocate Tifo first raised the existence of a second Meyiwa docket where Mapiri is named as having allegedly cleaned the crime scene.
So it's like we are running here. Someone is even jumping the neighbor's wall. Opposite your house, you are outside to even view this, in my thinking. Not to top it with the person who was in a car talking to your daughter or niece, in fact. So basically, it was a nice day for you. You were just chilling there, talking. You could have seen Togo jumping the wall, not unless your wall
could
is
have
so
heard the
high.
gunshots.
Yeah, not unless your wall is so high. You could have even seen the person chasing him to go. We would really like
Love
to know.
to hear Mapi's side of the story.
even Zandi still needs to clarify that part, as to say when you got in there, were these people showing that they are outside and they have actually were aware of what is happening?
They were nosy. They wanted to know, even if they didn't know. I
Yes.
mean, it's a location. It's a township. When something is happening, you see that people get out of their houses. They want to know. They want to see what is happening.
We would like to know that part.
So Zandi then said, I then left the house and proceeded to Mapiri's house. When I got to Mapiri's house, I found that she was standing outside her sister's daughter, Ntabiseng. The niece was talking to a motorist at the time. She was not sure about Ntabiseng's surname.
Yeah.
She says, I then asked her to call the police or the ambulance. She asked me what had happened. I told her the intruders entered the house and had shot at Senzo. She started to panic. This is Mapiri. So Mapiri and Tabiseng did not hear the 3 gunshots, it seems, because she started to panic, Mapiri.
Exactly.
She started to panic after being told by Zandi what had happened.
A person who is one house away from being opposite to the house of the Kumalos, basically. One house away. That house that is opposite is a next door neighbor of Mapiri.
There was movement opposite Mapiri's house, which is Babungache's house.
Yes.
Mapiri missed all of that movement.
Yes.
Tabiseng, they both missed that movement. Togo jumping, a lot was going on as well at Babungache's house.
Yes.
So she says, I repeatedly asked her to call the ambulance, and she said she couldn't think straight. And then she called Ntabiseng. She asked for her to call the ambulance. She also asked what had happened, and Maggie Mapiri told her that Senzo had been shot. Now Mapiri is the one narrating to Ntabiseng that Senzo had been shot. She put her hands in her head and started crying. And she says that she could tell that Zandi, she says she could tell that she wasn't gonna get any help there, and decided to go back.
Yeah.
She said that when she went back home from Mapiri's house, she found Kaya, the first son of Babungache and Mamngache, and other people who were there trying to help to get Senzo into the car. Zandi pointed out at a picture of the front yard and showed that the car in the picture, a BMW SUV X6 belonging to Senzo. Zandi said it was getting dark outside during the incident, and that Ngache's outside lights, which are mounted at the front of their home next door, were on. So
Wait. Just wait there. Wait there. Don't explain any further. Because it's 8, right?
yes,
Or 7, 7:30.
yes,
It's dark.
yes.
It doesn't get any darker than that. So when the judge was trying to, in my own opinion, lead, it went left, because now we ended up getting clarity of sort of an estimation of what time this thing happened.
Okay.
It's 8.
Yeah.
You are saying there were some lights, It's like if there were just some lights, when starting to one neighbor pushing up the lights and then the other. That's like 6'5". 6'5". That's around 6'5". That's not 8.
8.
That's not 7. It was getting dark. It's in
When
a
it was
process
getting
of
dark.
getting dark.
It's 5, 6.
Was this summer?
I think it was summer, so we would say latest is 7 p.m.
Yes.
But not 8.
No, just not beyond
8.
that. Not 8.
Not beyond 7 o'clock. no.
Even if it's 7 p.m., it puts the time where exactly I estimated it. If it's 7 p.m., it puts the time exactly where I want it, meaning that the game was playing around that time. Do you remember that argument that we had?
We had in last year.
People were even saying that the game was recorded because there was like PVR
They
introduction.
didn't have a PVR.
That's basically what you are thinking also. That's basically
Allegedly.
where it puts.
But they didn't have a PVR. They would have shown it on those pictures, right?
Do you see the decoder?
It was just a decoder.
Okay, but now it seems as if we are getting the correct and the right time estimation, which in my thinking is 7. Meaning that the shooting might have happened before 7.
Then court adjourned for tea. Okay, the judge reminded Zandi that she's not allowed to discuss this case with anyone for the duration of her testimony in court, including on gadgets.
Did you see though? Did you see the time? The sort of changing of where the car was parked. It almost changed if it wasn't for the day, because if the car was parked like it is in the picture, then
By the way, that we did not get to see.
no, they did say it was between the gate, because that's
Okay.
where, remember, I was getting on the left door and whatnot. So the car was parked in between the gate. It almost changed though to a car parked alongside the gate, just outside the gate, where Mtogo and Tumi, or where Mtogo was claiming they were standing, which was not the case. Let's continue.
Well, after the post-tea session started with Zandi Kumalo pointing that Senzo's BMW was parked in the driveway as you enter the Kumalo family home's yard. She said that she opened the left front passenger door to help Senzo in the car. She said, I opened the left passenger door of the vehicle, but before I could open, there was someone in front of me, and I went past that person and opened the left front door of the vehicle.
Hero.
She said that she entered the left passenger side first, then maneuvered herself in between the front car seats to go to the back seats. When Senzo entered the right back door, she says that she pulled him from under his arms into the vehicle.
Now, look at Senzo's body and the size. But before we do that, why do I say the change of a car parking, how it was parked? Why is it important for the car to change and be parked outside? Because there's not going to be a polo blocking that car.
Oh, yes. Was the polo there or not?
Because
As you were
now,
doing
for
all
them
of
to
this.
go out to hospital, they need to remove that polo.
Polo. And the owner of the polo told us that
Was
he
no
ran
way.
to the park, allegedly. Okay? So we need to know that. That's actually an important detail.
That's why the position of the car changing and be outside was going to make it easier. But now, it is back where it's supposed to be, in my own opinion.
It seems like there wasn't much space to maneuver.
Yes. So the Polo Vivo must be removed for X6 to go out. And for the Polo Vivo to be removed, the key or the owner must be present.
Well, she says that she realized that Senzo's legs were protruding outside the vehicle. Remember, guys, we are still at her. She's helping with his arms.
The heavy part, by the way, that's a heavy part of a person. So you pulling that part is basically you pulling that person.
So she says she realized that his legs were protruding outside the vehicle. And then she says, I pulled his legs in.
You move from the head to legs. Who did you leave on the legs? Probably the person who was standing in front. The sitting position is rather not known in this case.
Jumped over him and went to the right-hand side of the vehicle to sit there.
So this is, to make it easier, maybe we might look like we're making, this is someone who opens the front door, left side of the front door, the passenger door. You jump from that passenger seat to the back seat.
From the front seat to the passenger seat.
And then from there, you are in a position, whether center or still on the left, you're in a position. In fact, you go to the right, you fetch the person because that's an entrance. You pull that person back to the left door of the back side. And then you realize that, okay, I don't know who you give that part of the head, upper body to. And then you move to say the legs are still outside. You are taking care of this person.
You
that
move
that
to
is
the
a
right
process.
side, and then you pull them legs. Yeah.
And then here the change of the story, a bit of twisting now and then. This is obviously allegedly. Continue, Emil.
She says, I then pulled his legs in, jumped over him, and went to the right-hand side of the vehicle to sit there. Zandi adds, saying that Kelly entered the driver's seat and drove the car. She added that the space in the back seat was confined and sat with her side to the right back door because the space was small. Hi guys,
but yet she doesn't know the order. At least we know she was on the right, on the leg side. Then maybe we could go with Mtogo's theory of I was in the center. Was Mtogo in the center and then Tumelo on the head. Or Mtogo on the head, I think.
Mtogo was on the head.
And then Tumelo
in the center. And they describe Zandi to be at the feet. Mtogo describes
That's
Zandi
exactly,
to be at the feet.
and that's where Zandi puts herself.
But how she got there is very...
No, how she got there, you can go there. You can either leave the body down while hanging there and then you go pull the legs. It's fine.
And then Tumelo and Mtogo, they
get in on the left side since you're occupying the right side. That's okay. They pull the body up and they put it on their thighs or something like that. That's balancing the body. Yeah, you can do that.
Okay. So she says Senzo's legs were on the floor closer to her. The torso was lying on the seat. There were other occupants in the car. There was Tumelo and Mtogo, including Kelly. She said that adding she doesn't remember the order of entry. There was a little towel, a hand towel that was blue, that was used to press on the front portion of Senzo's torso.
Yeah,
She says that I found the towel was there to put pressure on Senzo's chest. The deceased was bleeding, albeit not profusely, but the deceased was bleeding. Inside the car, we were all taking turns to compress on the wound where the towel was.
Now, this is where now things change from I was putting pressure and someone else or Mtogo says I was putting pressure. To make the story sort of have a cohesion, in that 15 minutes, they all put hands.
10-minute drive because she was driving fast.
Around 10 minutes drive. They all put hands interchangeable on the chest, which is, wow. These were worried friends. Like they were even fighting for the wound. I'm the one who's gonna put it now. The other one is by the legs there. You're stretching yourself from the leg to let me put the hands also on the chest. Wow, that's very nice. That's very nice.
Then Kelly was driving, and she was driving at a high speed. That's why we are saying 10 minutes, and we've heard the 10-minute theory before.
By the way, didn't she also have some work to do with the Senzo at that time, around that time?
Work to do how?
Didn't she say also she's the one who was doing something in Senzo? I don't know. I'll still do that research. But I remember the explanation. I could see him changing and stuff like that. I think
changing blue.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I remember. I was seeing turning blue or something like that. I will have to go back to the
We
archives.
will go back to the archive.
Well, then she said, while we were helping Senzo, we were approaching the Butsilong hospital robot. My hand was there. He was bleeding. I kept shaking Senzo, saying, Senzo, keep your eyes open. We are almost at the hospital.
Same as
At that
Mthobo.
point, at that point, the interpreter said that Zandi was getting emotional, and Judge Maumela granted a comfort break that Advocate Baloyi asked for.
Yeah.
Then Zandi came back to the witness stand after the comfort break. And according to people that were in the court, she was still looking teary and constantly wiping tears from her eyes. Zandi said she is good to continue. Then court was back in session. Then Advocate Baloyi started by asking, Miss Kumalo, you mentioned a place called Butsilong. What type of place is that? Yes, I'm a question, Baloyi. This is where I was like, yeah. Well, then Zandi then said, it is the hospital. And then when I kept trying to talk to him, touching his face while doing that, and then I remember I placed my hand on the abdominal area and I could tell that uyabanda.
For those who left the class of biology, we are going to say stomach.
Stomach.
Yeah.
Yeah, stomach area. I think
I think it's a biology student, that one.
Then he said the body temperature was decreasing. This is Mr. Interpreter interpreting, saying that the body temperature was decreasing. And that is not what I had heard from Zandi. So I had a very trouble with this one. And then she said, I'd like to take this moment to say this is just my opinion piece. Then Baloyi said, when you mean body temperature was decreasing, what do you mean? Which was brought up by the interpreter, not Zandi herself per se. But then she answered the question and she said his warmth was no longer the same. She said, I would touch him at the top and touch him at the bottom. His body temperature was no longer the same. We then drove past these robots and entered the hospital. And when we got there, the security asked us to sign. And we said, we cannot sign in. This is an emergency.
Okay. Now here's the nice one. Not that it's nice because Longer comes with the mother now to hospital. We are all wondering how the mother arrived there.
No, but before we go there, they don't want to sign in. It's an emergency. I find something very troubling about what happened or how they are narrating things happened.
When you sign in, what happened?
I feel like they didn't want to leave behind a paper trail. I could be wrong. But I feel like it doesn't take a long time to sign in. One of them could have done it.
Yeah. The driver.
We then drove to the spot where there was an emergency sign, she said. When the car stopped, she says she opened the door and got off because she was seated next to the window. Then the judge wanted to know if the place they parked at was a designated emergency spot. And Zandi said, we parked there because there was a bright sign written emergency. I don't know whether it was the place for emergency or what. Zandi then said, I opened the door.
Just to disturb you a minute. Mm-hmm. What good does that bring to the case?
Exactly.
Are we going to have CCTV? Are we going to have
pull it from a CCTV
so
record.
That we prove that was the case? They parked
at the emergency spot, and the judge uhleli lapha, uhleli isikhathi eside, uhleli. He was sitting on that question for a very long time. I was getting impatient myself, but then we move. We are too hard on him and whatever. He knows what he's doing.
Let's go.
Zandi then said, I opened the door and I went out running, and I went inside and found this lady at the reception, and there were also some bystanders. I then screamed that I needed help. Ngicela usizo. That's how she was screaming. They approached her and she said, I led them to the car, and some of them came with a stretcher. When we got there, they took over and took him out of the car as we stood by. I remember that at the time, Kelly and I were embracing each other and comforting each other. They then put him into the stretcher that had wheels and pushed him into the premises and placed him into a room
sounding like a movie?
in there. It is comforting each other.
Like, some Titanic stuff. You open the door, you leave you open the door with the you leave the door open. What was left is that we left the doors open and then we let them deal with the issue and we are hugging each other.
It's sounding like a movie.
For someone you love, you'd probably be there. You would even be trying to help take that person to the stretch and all that. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. Then saying, "Oh my God, we have arrived. Okay,
we're comforting each
you're
other.
gonna be fine." That's like a movie, Indian movie, in fact.
She says we sat there and waited. After a while, their mother arrived together with Longwe. Now, this is where you wanted to bring in your point, Mr. Anonymous. The mother arrived with Longwe after a while.
Yes, that's now. We know that how Longwe then arrived. So that means Longwe came back. In that process, I guess we are told that the mother requested the house to be cleaned. It's alleged.
Allegedly.
Yes.
Mapiri.
Yes. We will hear, though. We still have to hear that.
We are yet to.
So after remaining behind and worrying about, it's allegedly. We will hear from the Mapiris if even the mother is gonna come. We'll hear. Right now we are just using what we can use. And then you come with Long. So that Long took a while to actually
after
come back from running, and it was like, yeah, let's just go now.
She asked where Senzo was, and she says I pointed her at that direction. And then she went towards that room, and a few seconds later, as we stood there, we heard my mother started screaming, crying. Zandi was weeping at that point. That's when she says she realized that something was not right in there. Now, this takes me back to Mtogo, opinion piece. This is my opinion. Togo said the doctor asked if there was an elder person, but according to Zandi, their mother just went straight to Senzo, where Senzo was. Right?
And there was no mother at the time, right?
No.
Togo went in. Was in Togo and
no, she says Zandi's mother was there.
Yeah.
And then she's the one who went because they were asking for an elder. In fact, he wanted to go because he felt like he was the closest one to Senzo.
Yes.
And then Zandi's mom is the one who went when they asked for an elder person.
Okay.
She said, I remember my mother came towards us where we were standing. If I remember correctly, she was walking with one of the doctors or nurses from the inside. They said Senzo was no more. Then the judge asked who said that. Then Zandi said, even though I cannot clearly remember, I think it was the doctor. Then Kelly asked to see him, and she asked me to accompany her inside. We then entered the room where he was lying. Then Kelly started to talk to him, and I can't remember what she was saying. She then kissed him on the forehead. She then took off his earrings he was wearing, and I think she also took off the watch he had on his wrist. She spoke with him for a while, and then we left the room. No mention of Tumelo in that room, who also saw Kelly taking off the watch, but did not see Kelly taking off the earrings.
In fact, Kelly requested that Zandi accompanies her, according to Zandi. Okay.
She says she left the room where Senzo's body was, and they went back to the people they were standing with before outside that room. I don't remember who was doing what, but everyone was moving. Some people were talking. It was just two of them, and then some were three. They were standing there talking. After a while, Mr. Chico Twala arrived, Baloyi then asked, "Do you perhaps know as to how he happened to arrive at the hospital?" Then Zandi said, "No, I just saw him arriving." He was then informed that Senzo was no more. He leaned against a wall next to him and slid down until he sat.
Next to him? Was it next to him or where he was standing?
No, but he leaned in a wall where he was standing and then he slid down.
Yes, the next to him part was going to be confusing because it's like he was on Senzo's board.
No, the wall next to him.
Okay.
The wall.
All right.
And then he slid down and he sat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what a reaction, right?
Classic.
Then a lot of people arrived, including Orlando Pirates players and those with some of their girlfriends. And Mandisa also arrived with her friends. Baloyi asked, "Who is Mandisa?" Then Zandile said, "Mandisa was Senzo's person. I don't know whether to say she was his wife or what." And then Mandisa was with her friends.
She still has amnesia part of what the position of Mandis. Because, I mean, the sister and Senzo were so in love. You know? Like, they were inseparable, as
like
she explained.
The shade.
Yeah.
What shade? Even in court, girl, you're still throwing shade at this poor lady. Yo. Mandisa. Mandisa was with her friends at the front as they walked in, and the people she was with proceeded straight to Kelly and they assaulted her, pulling her hair out. She had 2 braids that were snatched out. Now, braids that looked like cornrows. Others would say it's a straight back. In South Africa, we call it a straight back. Cornrows, it's more like an American term, but it's the same thing. They're flat braids. So, and then the court was laughing. There's Judge Maumela wanted to know what kind of braids they were. Hey, but then Baloyi then said, "Who assaulted your sister Kelly?" Zandi said, "Mandisa and her friends."
Contrary to what Ntogo said, they comforted each other, said Ntogo, right? Mm-hmm. So there's a friendship that was created between Kelly.
It wasn't a friendship.
Sort of
both of them lost the man. So contrary to what we may think happens, but that kind of stuff actually happens in real life. I think I've seen it before. Where when you lose, not in a movie, in real life, where when you lose a side chick and I come from the township.
Yeah.
So I've actually seen that scenario where the side chick, after the man is gone,
where people have murdered each other at some point.
Yeah, now they lost the same person that they loved.
I've never seen such.
You've never seen such?
You see, the story of Mandisa went straight to Kelly and started assaulting Kelly.
That one you believe.
Saying, Usuzo Ambulala. You finally killed him.
You finally killed him. That one you believe.
Sounds more real.
Okay, in my opinion, Togo said that Mandisa did not fight with Zandi's sister. And my question would be, how would Mandisa at that time get the liver and the audacity to put her hands on her sister? This is my point, okay, guys? When you go back in time, way back in time, there was a story that happened in the blogs and on the news about what had happened when Zandi, Kelly, and Mandisa had an altercation. So there was a time that Mandisa apparently blocked the road and so heard that Senzo was driving with Kelly and she wanted to fight them. And what happened allegedly in that incident is that Zandi and Kelly attacked Mandisa. And then there was a case that was opened. Right? Right? So in my opinion, I feel like Mtogo's version is more aligning because after that court case, there's no way she would put her hands on her again because she was going to get arrested.
No. We cannot. That's a movie. What you are explaining is a movie. You know why? This is someone who comes from KZN. Mm-hmm. So I think in your thinking, when you think that they were beating him, they were beating her, she was just standing there like, oh, do me. Maybe she was just alone, overpowered by the numbers if it happened. But she's got friends, a backup now. And
So
she's angry.
because she had a backup and because she
And
was
she's angry. She's angry. This is almost a husband. You know? In fact, a husband. You do you think you're gonna just go there and comfort a girlfriend that you fought with at some point?
grief.
Aye. That's a movie.
Okay, as she was fighting with her, she was pointing at her saying, "You have killed him. You have killed him."
Doesn't
then
doesn't that sound like something that would happen?
according
Because
to
more
you,
cabanga umuntu who took your man. And
according to you,
you would say umbulele, vele you would say umbulele. They would say
according to you.
ngathi abantu
Nah, my opinion is
ngathi abantu
different.
would say umbulele your friend, you go with your friend to go drink and then something happens, you come. They would say, yeah, until you prove yourself good. No, it was not actually like that. We were fighting.
What you are saying would depend on them leaving and finding, like going to the hospital having known that he's already deceased, or they still have hope that he's at the hospital. He might be hurt.
What do you think happened?
He was shot.
What do you think on a call happened between Mtogo and Mandis?
So you think Mtogo eventually told them?
Doesn't-
Because
doesn't
from what
that
we
sound-
heard,
doesn't that sound
Kelly
aligning?
took the phone. From what we heard, Kelly took the phone and told Mandisa that Senzo was shot. She didn't say Senzo is dead.
Now listen to this. Zandi doesn't say Mandisa went in there and checked on Senzo and then come back and said Ombolel. No. Mandisa comes and then from there Usuzo Ambulala. Do you get where I'm trying to go with this?
No.
Because that is someone who already has an idea of what is happening. Someone who knows what is happening. It's not someone who's gonna say Suzo Ambulala akas noma ushaye konyaweni noma he was shot somewhere else, where he can actually survive. No. Suzo Ambulala, those are specific words that are said by the sister. Who you gonna believe between someone who said they hug it out as a friend to Mandisa and the sister who's gonna say it as it is?
None of them.
For me, the sister is not in a position of protecting Mandis. There was a fight. Do we agree that there was a fight? Even Togo
But
said
she's
there was
in a position of protecting her sister.
I'm saying there was a fight. Do know that? Do remember?
And
Togo
we
said?
also must not dismiss, I think it was Roy Mahomoza also on the documentary. He didn't say that Mandisa did that, pulled her hair, beat her up.
Roy Mahamudu was not there. Man. Roy Mahamudu has never been on that.
But he
interview.
spoke a bit on what happened at the hospital.
No, you're talking about the guy. That's not Roy Mahamudu.
On the documentary.
That's not Roy Mahamudu.
Who was it?
I don't even know that guy.
My
by the way.
apologies. I forgot who it was, but they were narrating what had happened at the hospital.
Did you find that narration?
Because if
of
Mandisa had really put her hands on Kelly, Kelly.
where do you think that guy stands on a
wouldn't
camp
have
on a
rested.
camp of Mandisa and Kelly? Where do you think that guy? Look, I'm saying to you, even if you don't agree that there was a fight. Let us, in fact, we can agree that there was a fight.
Let's agree to disagree on this one.
Togo said there was a fight. So the friends fought, right? So as they were fighting, so now think about it. As they were fighting, and then Mandisa is folding her arms, it's like, okay, it's fine. Finish up. Let us
She could have been crying or something.
No, it's fine. There's nothing.
Let's
that's gonna
agree to
happen.
disagree
Yeah.
until we find out what happened. Yeah.
Let us. Maybe they will call Mandisa.
Mandisa was saying that we then tried to separate them. Eventually, they separated. Zandi says, and I quote, "I told Mandisa that this is not the time."
I don't believe
And
that.
Senzo was not a person who liked hostility. Umsindo.
I don't believe
So
that.
let's try, even though our tempers are high, let's come down and face this situation that we are dealt with.
I don't believe.
You know, when she said this is what made me believe that Mandisa did not put her hands on anyone.
But do you know that?
I was like, Zandi, the Zandi we've seen on social media. This is not the Zandi that we've seen on social media. The Zandi who helped her sister when Mandisa was coming and asking.
It is alleged.
Allegedly, but
All I'm saying,
Kelly and Zandi, they fight together.
You are looking at the position of Zandi versus Mandisa alone. I mean, Kelly. Remember now, Zandi had friends. Mandisa was coming with friends. So those friends who don't know how big they are, they could have just handled Zandi like that. Jepa, stand aside. That's it. And then from there, we are talking in a position of being held. And then these people, they deal with each other nicely and it finishes just very quickly. But if I was a woman and I had my husband passing away in the hands of umuntu engimthatha njengomuntu ongithathela indoda, or not ongithathela indoda, umuntu engimthatha njengomuntu that has been doing me dirty with my family, I'm not gonna hug anything out. Oh no, I'm not gonna do that. No way.
Well, my bit of opinion, I like I said, I find this very hard to believe. And in this narration, Zandi, where is Mtogo?
Obvious Mtogo is holding someone somewhere.
I agree when you've made up your mind. No, I haven't. I don't agree with you with your
Obvious
story.
Mtogo is holding.
Where is Mtogo?
Obvious Mtogo is holding someone in a form of trying to separate them. I don't think that is a woman that separated those people.
Then why isn't Zandi mentioned? You are doing what Maumela does now. Why didn't Zandi mention Mtogo? Where's Mtogo in this scenario?
They haven't.
According to Zandi,
they haven't been mentioning Mtogo for a while. They haven't been mentioning Mtogo until they exit. That's what they've been doing all along.
Hi. So after all that, she says, I remember I was walking back to the car and then my phone rang. And when I looked at the phone, after a long time of not checking it, I realized it had been ringing several times. I then picked up that call, but it was a number I couldn't recognize. When I picked up the call, the person said, Zandi, this is me, Mama Joy.
Yeah.
So our Mama Joy had Senzo's friends' numbers.
Girlfriend's side number.
Friends. We're just going to say friend. This is a woman, she says, I was used to seeing on TV in Pirates Regalia. So for those who may wonder who is Mama Joy was an Orlando Pirates fan.
He's a Royal AM fan. Let us put it easier. A Royal AM fan who is a pirate fan who jumped a ship when the time was suitable to go to Royal AM, to Mamkize. And Pirate has been stopping her now and then when she comes to the pitch. That's Mama Joy.
That's Mama Joy. And there were also allegations I heard before that Senzo had built her a house. I don't know if they're true or not. But at the time, I heard those allegations. So she asked me what had happened. I told her what happened. As I was explaining, I was crying. She also hung up because she also started crying. And then we got into the car. She says, I remember it was myself, Kelly, and Tumelo. I cannot clearly remember if my mother got into the same car or whether she went back to Longwe's car. We got into the vehicle, the X6, and we went back home. When we got home, we found that the area had already been cordoned off with tapes.
Sorry, what did you say? You said you don't remember whether Tumelo,
her mother.
Mtogo though remained behind, right?
Mtogo remained behind.
Yes.
But her mother, she
didn't. You know what I like about Zandi? Mm-hmm. She is all over. And what is good about that is that there are people that you would forget, but she reminds you about those people. And I think those people should be there to testify. You know, like the MEC.
The MEC.
It would be very nice to know who called the MEC and why the MEC was there. Who else was there as a big person? Those are big people. They don't just visit anyone. I mean, the question is, do you normally visit the people that have
So when she
like
said the woman with dreadlocks, she meant the MEC?
That to me sounded like that.
Mm-hmm. So Zandi pointed to a picture of a parked BMW X6 that is parked outside the house on the curbstone. She said that's where Kelly parked when they returned from the house. So according to those who were in the court, the picture was that of nighttime.
Yeah.
So Zandi said she lifted the police tape, went under and entered the yard, leaving bystanders outside the yard. The police officers had also arrived at the scene. We entered the house, this is what she said. There was a lot of people on the streets, and even inside there were police officers who had arrived at the scene. When I got inside, there were people inside, some were unknown to me. They were introducing themselves, saying they were Brigadier so and so, and introduced themselves as officers, telling them how long they had been in the police force. There was another lady as well with short dreadlocks. So we're going to assume that it's, let me see, and a bit heavier on the body, the physique that she described. Yeah, it does sound like that of the MEC around the time. The woman introduced herself and said she worked for the government. I cannot recall her name, but she was in the company of others. They started talking to us and comforting us about what had happened. Zandi added that the hoodie sweater that she was wearing was stained with blood. She says, I entered my bedroom, which the bedroom where Kelly ran into when the alleged intruders entered the house. She says, adding that she went to change her stained sweater for a black fur coat. She says, I then sat at the dining room. While sitting there, people were arriving. The police were coming into the house. She said, what I also remember is that at the time we entered through the door, I noticed Senzo's phone in the kitchen under the stove, slightly protruding from the side of the stove. She said, I also saw Tumelo's crutches, the one we were using to fight the intruders. She said, I also saw the hat that was worn by the suspect number one, the one with the dreadlocks, the one who did their mother like that, remember, while she was peeping, with the elbow. And then he ran, right? After, before she got out of the bathroom, remember she checked the coast, right? And then she saw in the direction of the kitchen that the intruder went away. But then when she came back from the hospital, she says that the hat that was worn by suspect number one was in the kitchen. Yes. So Baloyi then asked how she knew the suspect with the dreadlocks wore the hat on the kitchen floor. Then Zandi said when the alleged intruders were demanding money and cell phones, she said, I lifted my eyes and saw his face and realized he was wearing the hat, and accused number two was wearing a hoodie. So the judge asked which accused is suspect number one, who wore a hat and had dreadlocks. So for me, I want to ask a question for those who were watching. Did it feel like the judge wanted her to point again in court which suspect she was talking about? It felt like that. I don't know, could be me. Then Zandi said, the first suspect, I can't see him here in court. She could not see him because the first time they said it was Zamoguhle Mbata, allegedly. So this is my opinion, because there was a time they pointed out the man who washed Senzo's car, and he got arrested, and he sat in jail for quite some time until they could prove that it wasn't him, So she couldn't point like they pointed at Zamoguhle, allegedly. So Baloyi then asked whether she can describe the alleged first intruder, and then Zandi said the first one with a firearm had long dreadlocks. They did not reach the shoulders, the dreadlocks. They were close to the neck that went just under the jawbone.
Yeah.
So he was wearing a checkered hat. So in terms of the height, he was neither too tall nor too short. He was mid-height. His complexion was a shiny kind of black complexion. He was dark, but not too dark. He had a contoured face. He had a bold jawline that was clearly visible.
Yeah.
And as well as a clearly visible cheekbone. So it was more like this. Right? So he also had big eyes with regards to weight was neither too big or small. She could not remember his clothes. Baloyi asked her to describe the firearm. Then Zandi said, I don't have knowledge of the firearms. I also don't have a firearm. I only remember that it was darkish and it made a click sound. Why doesn't anybody want to mention the color?
Oh, I'm looking at a description and I'm looking at a picture that I saw of Longwe Twala. The picture really, the description and the dreads and all that.
You have a picture of Longwe in dreads?
There is a picture of Longwe in dreads at some point. I don't know when. That's what we cannot put a finger on.
Timeline.
Yeah, but at some point he had dreads. And doesn't he have big eyes?
I'm not sure. At this point, I don't even remember what Longwe looks like. I'm so dizzy with this testimony, guys. I'm so dizzy. At this point, I don't know what anybody looks like at this point. It's you wishy. Like, yo. I'm trying to work with what we are given. Okay, I'm not trying to compare right now. I feel like my head is spinning because now the suspect is like this. Now I understand, no matter, guys. Like, the suspect now is like the first intruder. So I don't know what he looks like anymore. I don't. So Baloyi then asked to describe the second intruder. Zandi said the second one was tall with a slender built body. She says what I could see was a jaw and chin area because he had a hoodie covering his head. Kombile nje, girl, like yesterday. What is going on?
Isn't it?
What is going on?
He pointed to the other one.
But now she's been asked to describe the second intruder with the hoodie. And she said what she could see was the jaw and chin area. Because
the guy who was pointing is the second intruder.
No, I'm so... Guys, why? And she said one could reasonably see the face. The challenge was the shadow covering his face. He now had a shadow covering his face. With the hoodie he had under the light. The hoodie was a combination of brown beige color. We're talking about the second intruder here. Now they had a shadow on the face. But they could see the brown beige. But yet they pointed them yesterday. Guys, what is going on?
They color. That's why the adjournment must be longer now. Things were happening, man. Things were happening. You know, like I felt what was happening there. It's like, wow. I was also asking myself,
then Baloyi asked for a short adjournment. Okay, not a lunch adjournment. So finally now we are post-lunch and Zandi described the clothes worn by the alleged second intruder, who Zandi said was wearing a brown beige colored hoodie. Zandi said the alleged second intruder had small facial hair on his chin. She now recounts what she saw in the kitchen when they arrived from the hospital, saying her mother's BlackBerry cell phone was on the stove, charging by a plug next to the stove. And the intruders, both of them,
they didn't see it.
They didn't see that phone.
They couldn't.
She said, and I quote, "I also saw a hat that was worn by suspect number 1. That's about all that I noticed." Then Zandi said, and Baloyi says he will show her the crime scene photos. The picture that was pulled up by Baloyi was that of the Kumalo kitchen floor, showing a checkered hat that Zandi says was worn by the first alleged intruder. She testified that item over there was a crutch walking stick that was used to beat an intruder with. Zandi continued describing the kitchen floor, saying the shade created by the overhang of the countertop hides portions of the floor. She is said that why the alleged intruders might have missed Senzo's phone, which she said was on the floor by the stove. Baloyi pulled up a picture of the kitchen countertop, and Zandi said she noticed a bullet hole on the door. She says, guys, I know, I did not see any of these pictures. I'm just narrating what was happening in court, but I wish I could have seen these pictures. She says she noticed the bullet holes on the kitchen door when her sister Ntumelo returned from the hospital. Baloyi pulled up a picture of the kitchen door, and Zandi said the hole on the door shown in the picture is the one she saw. She pointed at the picture on the screen inside the court, saying that it is the bullet hole she observed. Zandi said, and I quote, "Normally that is not how this door looks like. There is usually no hole or damage on the door." On how she discovered Senzo's phone, she says, when you are outside the kitchen door before entering.
This is the picture.
Did she have dreadlocks there?
Yeah, that.
Okay, let me look. Jawline is there. Cheekbones are popping. I don't know, guys, whether we're seeing the same thing or what, or maybe gap punch. But the cheekbones.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about the eyes, though. The eyes are supposed to be like this.
We're not sure.
Guys, you know, Longwe needs to come and testify and clear things up for a whole lot of us as South Africans. So we will wait on his testimony.
Yes, we will.
On how she discovered Senzo's phone, she says, when you are outside the kitchen door before entering, your eyes can see because you are at the lower step of the kitchen. When you step up into the kitchen, you can see it was an iPhone 5. It was reasonably new. And I couldn't help but think to myself, instead of handing over the phone, y'all are trying to tell us that instead of handing over the phone that they asked for, he got into this. I digress. She added that police officers told them they would return the following day to take their statements about the incident, with Zandi saying the police could see that she and other occupants were uneasy. Well, it makes sense. They could have been emotional. But the police officers I know, they wanna get the statement.
Yeah, I'm surprised
as
of that.
Fresh.
I'm also surprised. Why would you do that? But yeah, I guess
as fresh as the event,
it's
they want you even when you are crying.
I guess if you are famous,
maybe when you're famous,
they give you such time.
I've seen police officers, even when you are crying and hysterical, they give you a tissue.
They are. I guess if you are famous, they would give you such time.
Well, she said, and I quote, "I took my bag to put it in my clothing items because Kelly said we should go." The police are saying they're going to come back and take your statements.
Yeah.
They are packing and they are going now.
Yeah.
And she says they'd rather sleep at the house. She said, adding that she packed the children's clothes as well. So Kelly had 2 children inside the house when Senzo was shot.
Yes.
So Baloyi asked where the children were when the incident happened, and Zandi said that she is known in her family that she loves children, and she was sitting with her youngest child, a baby girl, holding her. Now, Judge Maumela reminded her that on Thursday she testified that she was designated fetcher of alcohol from the fridge. Responding, Zandi said that a child can be passed from one person to another, so she could do her alcohol fetching duties. Now, she's saying this child would be in the hands of my mother, Mtogo, Kelly, Senzo, basically everyone. Kelly's older son was moving from one point to another.
Yes.
At some point, he walked behind Zandi and looked like he was walking towards the bedroom. Now, she described the boys' movements when the alleged intruders entered. She said she didn't see Tumelo enter or exit the bedroom.
Yeah.
Madlala had testified that he ran to a bedroom after the shot was fired. Zandi said she sustained burns on her right ankle after the shot was fired. She stood up and pointed out to the spot on her ankle where she supposedly got burned. She said there were sparks coming from the shot of the gun that hit her leg.
Yeah.
And then she said she supposedly got burnt when the shot was fired. Zandi claimed that she was slightly burnt by the gunshot residue. Yes, the gunshot residue. She said, and I quote, "I didn't go for medical attention because this was a superficial wound. Even though it was slightly bleeding, it didn't compel her to seek medical attention." She explained that it was between 7 p.m. and 8 p.m.
Yeah.
when the alleged intruders entered. Zandi was shown a picture of a guarana can. Guarana, smean of guarana. And she said, "Yes, I did drink alcohol that evening. Myself and Kelly were sharing a 6-pack of Smirnoff guarana cans. The cans were very small. So she said her estimation would be 300 and something milliliters. There is also a can of Heineken on the picture that was demonstrated in the court. Asked how many cans she had, Zandi said, "Not more than 3. While I was sober, I had not been intoxicated yet." Asked how long she had dated Longotala, she said, if her memory serves her right, it was 3 to 4 months at the time of the incident in 2014. So this was a fresh relationship.
Those who drink, guarana is it part of hunters?
Smirnoff.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Because I mean,
It was a popular drink back then.
but was there no mention of hunters there by Tumelo?
What I remember, Tumelo mentioned 3. It's been a while, guys. I have
Yeah,
to
I
go
mentioned
back.
3.
He mentioned 3 types of brands of alcohol. A Heineken, a Smirnoff, Guarana, Leo, and something. The third one I don't
think it was
remember.
hunters or something.
You think so?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Even Togo mentioned.
Didn't Togo also mention it?
I think so. But it's a lot of
But
information.
they didn't want to estimate how many cans, how many 6-packs. That 400, how much exactly, how much quantity did it buy? Kunin bebabuza, they don't want to answer that question. But it's fine, we move. She said, responding to when last she had seen Longwe before the incident, she said she saw Longwe at Kelly's Malberton home after a show she and her sister were meant to perform at, but didn't.
Yeah.
Okay? Zandi said that her and Kelly did not perform at that show
Now, do
because
you
it was
remember?
raining.
Do you remember Mtogo saying that when they left with Senzo, they were called?
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. That is now more aligning with what Mtogo said.
But yesterday it wasn't, eh?
No, yesterday it was not making sense because Mtogo said we left and then they called us, didn't they? They did.
They did.
Yeah, so that is kind of more aligning.
So she said, Zandi said that her and Kelly did not perform at the show because it was raining. And before heading to Malberton, the sisters waited at a house nearby the venue, where musician Arthur Mafokati was also there as the show's organizer.
Yeah.
So now this whole performing, we move from performing to we did not perform because it was raining. Now I'm very confused. So asked what time Longwe left Malberton on the 25th of October 2014, Zandi said it was late. She doesn't remember the exact time, but it was before midnight.
Okay.
Before midnight, and it's the very same night that Mtogo slept over at Malberton.
Yeah.
So Baloyi asked where Mtogo Twala was after she had left the hospital. Zandi said Mtogo said he wanted to stay with Mandisa at Butsilong and did not leave with them. Baloyi said, "My lord, I've reached the end of normal sitting time. Can the matter please be adjourned?" Baloyi said that they have to adjourn the matter until the 12th of June owing to the unavailability of one of the counsels. The matter is set down until the 15th June 12th June, my apologies, Baloyi said, adding that he will ensure that Zandi will be present when the trial resumes on the 12th of June. So, advocate...
Do you think that the advocate that won't be available is Msholon?
I got a bit of a sgaqa from one of the journalists online, and Advocate Charles Mnisi, who is a long-distance runner, says he will not be in court on the 12th of June as he will be taking part in the Comrades Marathon on the 11th. So someone standing in for him will be there.
Yeah, but so it's not
a big deal.
It's not
It's one day. But I wonder who this council is. I really do.
I won't put it far from Shodol. I'm telling you, I know that people are gonna, but I think Shodol is busy. She's busy. She looks busy.
Guys, are we ever gonna talk about the time that Ubabu Jonas didn't want to translate the judgment?
And then there was that whispering of Kunengan loco.
And then today we have this interpreter.
This interpreter will waste time. This one waste time. This one, yo. Yeah, there was that Kunengan loco.
I don't know whether how many of you guys caught that, but that troubled my spirit. It's still troubling me because being Babu Jonas.
And for me again, why I say there's too much time wastage. You say you are going to interpret for your people initially.
Yes.
And then now you want that thing to be interpreted. It's like, hey, that thing, get it interpreted.
And
however
you
you want
didn't give him a heads up.
Yeah.
Remember, Babu Jonas would say, I went to the reception. Is it reception or what? To ask.
Yeah.
And they told me that the council had said that they would translate for their clients.
And then that's where that Kunengan
And namhlanje sisilethela u-abdomen, utorso. Way.
Ngiyanizwa nje lokhu nithi hey. I mean, I hear you guys. But I mean, for me, nakube kuyangami, if it was for me, I don't know, I would exonerate Mshorolo's accused. So, and then I'm left with these four guys. Honestly speaking, I say you are exonerated. You don't have to answer for anything. Let us just deal with these three guys. No, I'm being honest. I'm not gonna lie. You know why I'm saying that?
Yeah.
I'm still hurting from that thing of I need time to read this thing.
2 months. Was it 2 to 3 months?
Yes.
Something like that.
We adjourned for long, and people are not seeing that. I'll wait for and see. Maybe I'll be convinced when the case is done. But for me, she's busy, man. She's too busy, and she needs long time for things, small things. Even that application where people were arguing and saying that no, it's fine, and then she's like she wants a formal way of applying. That's like wasting time.
Hey, yo. Okay, well, wait. This is a break. We appreciate the break. I needed the break, and we will see when the 12th comes what exactly will be happening. It's
a break from the proceeding, but we are going to continue with others.
And maybe this witness needs more training.
Zandile reality, hello.
Hey, Mr. Anonymous, how are you?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
I'm good. Zandile reality family, you make me laugh. The way you fight with Emily there, it's like your siblings.
Today now we don't agree.
I think like Mr. Anonymous was saying, Zandi has placed a lot of people that must come to testify here.
Yes.
But before I get into the case, I want to alert family to the fact that we gradually moving towards being a police state. I'm not sure if you guys have seen the warning that people who've got the book of unreiterated must delete it, otherwise they'll be arrested.
Yes.
So I'm just thinking that they must not say all bloggers that deal with this case must stop it.
Hey.
No,
How?
that would be now we're getting to, if that the state then that we are moving away from democracy. We are in democracy. We are going to write that thing of democracy when it suits us, by the way.
Exactly. So getting into the case.
Yes.
Zandi, like Mr. Anonymous was saying, Zandi is placing a lot of new people that must come and testify. You see, you remember that Tifo's version, that when Senzo was moved from the house, he was already dead.
Yes.
That version is very important if you take into consideration Zandi's testimony. When Chico received, because Chico is the first person to be called.
Yes.
When Chico receives the call, he must have asked, because if you are told you receive a call and you are told that Emily is shot, the first thing you're going to want to find out, shot where? In the arm, in the leg, in the head, because you are panicking about that person's death. You see. So Chico must have been told that he was shot in the chest, and in that very call, he might have been told that his Senzo is already dead. Which is why at the hospital, Orlando Pirates is immediately there, because Chico after that he called the Orlando Pirates boss. You see now, and when they arrive at the hospital, they're not. No one wants to go and see Senzo except Zandi's mother. All of them when they come, they roll down the wall and get fed. And Zandile comes and say Usumbulele, meaning. That message, like Mr. Anonymous was saying, that message did not come at the hospital. They got it from the phone calls.
Exactly, that's my thinking.
Which explains why in the other docket where the statements were stolen, it explains why that docket is the prosecutor is saying those people in the house must be arrested.
Yes.
You see. And now this whole delay of this case, I think the intention of the delay is to first demoralize everyone that's involved in the case. Secondly, you like you were saying, Mr. Anonymous, you were spot on when you said they want to starve the lawyers, because lawyers must make money in the meantime. So when you starve them, and because they are frustrating the state's case, you are going to get new lawyers, and those new lawyers will make the case to be postponed further, and until the nation and everyone loses interest. You see, because now there's too much interest in the case. So the intention is that the nation must lose interest in this case so that the state can do whatever they want to do with the case.
I think you just summarized everything.
Yeah. So, and I think Emily is correct. This thing that you were fighting about, Emily is correct that I also don't think Zandi came and beat Kaylee there at the hospital. You see, I think all she could do, I mean, if you are told that your husband has been shot, is dead, you won't come and fight. You'll come to the hospital and lose all the power. All you can do is to cry. So Zandi is just mentioning the assault of Kaylee so that she puts Zandi in a bad light. You see, which is what she has been doing in all her interviews. That why is Zandi not investigated? Why is Zandi's mother not investigated? And all those things.
Yes.
But the other thing that I've noticed, Kelly's mother is so brave. You know, she's so brave that at the scene after the gunshots, we can hear everyone running to the bedrooms, everyone running outside. But Kelly's mother is nowhere to be seen where he's running. She's not screaming. She's not running. And Zandi is seeing Kelly's son opening eyes, surprised and amazed what is happening. The son is not running away. He's not screaming. He's just surprised what is happening. So you see, the reason why there's that description, it's because the gunshot. It goes back to that Tifo's version. That the gunshot went off at the time when there was a squabble in the house, and the children, because there were no strangers, the children are puzzled. Why are these adults now fighting? So that is the reason that son did not run, did not scream, and was just opening eyes, showing confusion. You see, but the other thing, the culture thing that Zandi raised in court. It was just to put. There's this thing that I'm sensing. This Khumalo family has got this ongoing fight with the Meyiwa family, and they're using this case to discredit that family at every chance they're getting. Now, and to hurt Mandisa in the meantime, because what she's doing in this testimony, she's saying Tumelo was here to negotiate Senzo's lobola. Now, in a cultural home, a Zulu cultural home, a boy like Tumelo will never come and negotiate lobola alone. Without an elderly person, alone, without an elderly person.
And considering that the father was still there at the time, alive.
Exactly. The father was still there, still alive. Siso is still there, still alive. And even if maybe the family did not like Kelly, it is not mentioned in the testimony that Ntogo was going to be part of the lobola negotiation.
Tumelo.
Or whoever. It's just Tumelo who was going to negotiate lobola.
Yes.
No, now, if you look at that thing, why is it brought in the testimony? It is to hurt Zandi and the Meyiwa family to say, while you were busy with this Zandi of yours, Senzo was changing his life into the Khumalo family. Easy. No, sure, guys. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.
Hey. And when you really think about it, Zandi has been gunning for Mandisa, and I don't understand.
She has.
She's taunting her.
Why don't we look at Mandisa?
She's taunting Mandisa.
She's just
and today she sounded like I know it probably is the worst example, but she sounded like
she was a girlfriend too. Yeah, that's how she sounded.
And she sounded like those ladies who go to church who change their tone to fit certain situations.
Zanzi reality, hello? Zanzi, hello?
Hi guys, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
Hi.
I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's a build-up of, remember when therefore this week he said, before he was chased out, he said someone's life is in danger. What I saw from all the testimonies compared, Mtogozi Sitwala is the odd one out, and he's the best friend. He's also friends with Umandisa. I feel like Umtogo is going to take the fall for his friendship with Umandisa, to say that Umandisa was the mastermind and Umtogo's life is the one that's in danger, not the guy that's in jail. Because if Umtogo is pinned and he dies, then they're going to say, well, everything is pointing to Umtogo, but now he's dead. I believe when therefore said Mtogo's life someone's life is in danger, I feel like it's not one of the accused, it's Mtogo's life, because he's been singled out, and all the other testimonies, he's standing alone.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Everything said here is alleged.
Allegedly.
But
Allegedly. Sorry,
I
yeah.
hope not. I really hope not.
But then
I pray.
again, you look at where Tifo is. Tifo is representing Sfiso. Then the only person you would be worried about mostly is also him. And who has been pushing the other direction in that family more than Sfiso? Because even when they come with certain theories, Fiso is like, no, man, this person said this one said that.
I believe that the mastermind theory is the one that the state is going to push, and Mtogo is going to be the one they are going to say, remember Mtogo was in the house and he was friends. What if he was chatting to the wife at Roy's party to say we are in force law? So they're going to say Mtogo was actually assisting Mandisa to take out to Kelly, but instead Senzo is the one that died in mistake. They wanted Kelly out, allegedly.
That story did not fly, though. You know where it started? There's a part where Senzo was protecting me, type of a thing, you know. There is so it's
The
sort of
cleaning of the
the
house
cleaning
as
of the
well.
house sort of killed that story. And what has been testified here now, it is killing the story, man.
Yeah, but Mtogo needs to be protected at all costs. I feel like even that paper, that document that would therefore gave the one of the legal counsel.
Yes.
And remember, Utefo gave that paper specifically to the legal counsel, one of the accused that was pointed as the murderer.
Yeah, it's alleged. It's all alleged.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you.
No, but thank you for that view of things. It's really interesting.
It is allegedly. Everything
Allegedly.
We are alleging here.
We are speculating. This is the court of public opinion. It cannot be restricted like the conjuram and whatnot. And we don't know what that is. We are laymen. Are we not laymen, Mr. Anonymous?
We are. That's why we also argue until Mzansi, hello? Zanzi, hello. Zanzi, hello. How are you?
Yes, that's reality.
Yes,
Yes.
it is.
Yes, I don't know if I'm live or right.
You are
live.
Just shoot.
All right. Hey, Buffett, I've never seen a family so brave as the Kumalo family. Like, I've been hijacked, I think, prior to COVID-19 in February. So when I was hijacked and kidnapped. With just one gun, I submitted and I surrendered and I was taken to Soweto. This family, they are so brave. I wish I was born in this family. They can fight you with it while you are having a gun and they can go with you. I've never seen such a family. Today you can point me with a gun, though I've been in that situation before. But today you can point me with a gun, I will still surrender. But this family cannot. This family can take your hands on. Sure. Number two, I don't know. Some are born in the Babs, but to those who are born in this area of Okatlahong or Soweto, we know gun, we hear gun. Now, say for instance you are 5 houses away and the gun, and there's a sound of a gun 5 houses away from you can still hear the sound of a gun. It's surprising that these people that she ran to, they were outside their house. They could not hear 3 gunshots.
Right?
Including the former police neighbor, isn't it?
Well, he heard.
Nobody hears
All of them.
Come on, guys. 3 gunshots. They are still outside chatting. It's business as usual. Can you guys please? Maybe I'm mentally disturbed. I'm a man, Bonanda, subject to correction.
Yeah.
But please make this to me, please make me understand. I'm trying to make sense of this. 3 gun bullets. 3. They are still chatting. It is still as business as usual. They can't hear anything. Where I stay now, I've had a gun bullet 2 streets away. But this one is not. It's just an opposite. They couldn't hear 3 gunshots. Guys, please. I'm a man. I'm a Christian at the same time. I've read somewhere in the book of Job, it says a person who talks too much, they are most likely to end up lying.
Yeah.
So I may be lying. Maybe I'm the one or the one who's giving testimony to which is the liar. I don't know. But at this moment, I'm finding it difficult. But me, I'm saying the person who killed our beloved goalkeeper, somewhere straight. I don't want to say where, but they know where. Let me leave it there.
That's true. That is true. No, but I get you. I get your point. And truly speaking, I've also faced such situation. They are not. You don't even want to know if it's a toy or what. You just
want to get it over and gunshot. If you are from the township.
I've been into gun training, so I know how firearms sounds. I've been there, done more than 100 bullets. You know, 1 bullet, just to shoot 1 bullet. I've been carrying that firearm. I know 1 bullet, just 1 bullet. It is enough to awaken the other neighbor. In fact, where I stay, there was a bullet on the opposite street. That gunshot, I've had that gunshot. I was sleeping in my room. I've had that gunshot outside. I even went to check the cars and everything was okay. I'm the one who waked up the car owners here. We checked and everything was okay. Just opposite street, I've had that gunshot. But here, there's a neighbor. Look, on the other side of the street, she's out there. This family, Piri and what they have to explain something to us. We can be like, but one last thing, guys. I'm suspecting something. I may be a theorist as well. We are told there's going to be a blackout in this country for probably a month. I'm thinking, what if it would be the time where they make a judgment? And then by the time we've got electricity, boom, the judgment is already passed. And then this family went free, and then the country will be made, but everything would have been completed. I don't know, guys. I'm just thinking, but there's something that is probably going to happen in the country. It might not be the Senzo Meyiwa case, but something is probably going to happen during those times, like the BE law that was passed while we were focusing on Thabo Bester. That BE law got passed. Something is about to happen during those times, guys.
Please be alert.
Well, let us wait and see. I get you. I don't want to say I'm aligned, but I'm just gonna say I get you. Me and you, we can have a conversation on the other side,
away
from here. Yeah, it's an interesting thinking. Yeah, thank you. Then say hello.
Zandi Reality, hi.
All right. Hello. Hello. I get you.
Hi.
Zanzi, hello.
So, how are you guys?
We are good, and you? Yeah.
I need clarity here.
Sure.
Okay.
Did Zandi say Longway went to Senzo's house?
Yes, there's a point where she said the previous night on the 25th of October.
Not Senzo's house, Malbertin.
Malbertin, it is where Senzo lived with Kelly.
Yeah, it's Senzo's house. Malbertin,
yes,
Yeah.
Yes.
So Mtogo went to the house on the same day.
It was the previous day,
The
25th.
It was
Remember, the
day.
incident happened on the 26th. It was a Sunday, so he was there on the Saturday night, and he left at midnight.
Oh, so when did Mtogo sleep over? Was it the same day or the following day?
The same night.
The same night. But Mtogo said initially, Zandile went to bed early, and Senzo and Togo and Kaylee stayed up and watched TV.
Yes.
But Longwe was there. At the same time, Togo says it was he saw Longwe at Kaylee's for the first time, not the previous day. And if they were together the previous day, as Zandi says, they would have known each other. They would have spoken. They would have greeted each other. Because it seems like they didn't know each other when they got to Kelly's house. So Zandi is lying in terms of saying Longwe was there. She wants to make it seem as if they were in love. And the funny part is they were 21. These guys were 21 when this happened. They were naive.
21.
And Togo and Zandi had something in common. They were performers. You know, they were performing. And I know when you're 21 and there's a girl in the same house as you and you relate, something must have happened. And Longwe wasn't there. He didn't come there that day before. This is just being painted so we think nothing happened. And Zandi is raising suspicion. Something did happen between her and Togo.
The ignoring of Togo is right there. Very disturbing.
Yeah, that's why Togo is being brushed aside. And that's why Longwe was actually angry. Because they were the same age and they had things in common. They were talking and something led to the other. And the others were already in the bedroom. So I'm sure something happened. Now they're trying to paint Longwe's relationship and Zandi's relationship as good, you know. And if they were together the previous day, she wouldn't have called and asked where she was the next day, because she would have told her, tomorrow we're doing this, and then we'll end up
somewhere,
going somewhere, you know. And he seems like someone who didn't know what was going to happen that day. That's why she was asking Zandi, where are you? You know, if I was with you the previous day, I would know your plans the next day. And it was easy for Longwe to take Zandi home with him and then bring her back the next day. She was not going to allow Zandi to sleep in a house where there's an extra guy doing nothing. So it doesn't add up. But thank you for the show, guys, and to the listeners, continue liking.
Thank you very much.
We even forgot to remind you guys. We appreciate the likes on the previous video. I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. It was beautiful.
Thank you very much, guys, and we appreciate the likes and the pushing of.
Keep them coming.
That motivates us. Mzansi, hello. Mzansi Reality, hello.
Hello, Mr. Anonymous.
Hi, sir. How are you?
I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm just following his story as usual. Ngiyangilanda ilokhu channel yakho le.
Yes.
Lendo ezingu-2 which I'm not gonna belong. Story sika Zandi. I think some of those witnesses I have heard to the defensive lawyers, they have been poking holes. This one they open floodgates on it. Just because if you listen from the start where she started and where she is now, uwenzakala kwabo from bedudulane kilokhu zenendlini befixa nekitchen abaleke omunye angene bedroom, omunye angene toilet, akhona ukuba nelihlo elithena 360 ukuthi yakwanisa ukuskena iview yendlu yonke exashile. And then from there, ubusungibuza ukuthi kuqhume ama-bullet angu-3 endlini kulabantwana, isound yakhona akekho umuntu oyi-1 la endlini oscreamayo. Idlule lapho siphume abantu abasebona usenzo sekalimele, uyaphuma uya next door uyacela usizo, akunamuntu oscreamayo ocela usizo, uhamba straight edlula abantu abasestradini ayokhuluma nomuntu osejiradini akaceli enisizo kulabo bantu. Ayobuya ngale mawusufuna ukunderstanda isikhathi osikhulume noma lalo maphiri wakhona sibe kangakanani sebuye endlini la sokugcwele abantu asebephakamisa umuntu asebemkhipha endlini sebemfaka emoteni. angene emoteni sokuya esibhedlela uhlele enyaweni but une access yokuthi akhona ukuthi avula amehlo kaSenzo amkhulumise amtest temperature yakhe lo bemtesta ngayo abuye endlini ngapha uma phirusele cleaner akabonanga amafoni amapholisa agcwele endlini ifoni kaSenzo abayibonanga ibonwa nguye. Secondly, mawusubheka right abantu laba mabengena endlini I think isketch engake ngasibona bekhombisa sketch leja bangene endlini which they were facing isunset on la okushona khona ilanga bangene ngasempumalanga bebheke entshonalanga ngithi mawubheka umnyango wasekitchen then umuntu ongenayo as intruder they suppose ukuthi nxa any bullet abayi discharge endlini ifanele cartridge yakhona kumbe anybody who's going to be hurt ngose sitting room. How does they have got a hole on the air kitchen door while they are facing in a lokuzene sitting room?
Hey, Njani.
They can't manage to ubheke in front of you. You are shooting those people which are in front of you. But the bullet isicapha esemnyango. Mina iversion yami itshintshe leso sikhathi bekhombisa isicapha leso bekhuluma ngesicapha ukuthi kulembobo esicapeni sekhishi. Laba bebambe khona lo muntu bemphushele esicapeni. Ubheke ngasendlini. And if he's discharging any bullet, it's supposed to hit in front of him, not at the backside of the person. So bengifuna ukuthi kube ngakwenza i-cross examination istory lesabasenzile ukuthi badlalise isikhathi esiningi nje angifuni ukuqeda isikhathi sabantu but lokho sokuyigame enyenyanyisayo sham.
I hear you.
I thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey.
Auntie Moya, can you please explain for Simon TM? I don't know. Just I'm tasking you because I know that you probably are gonna narrate it easy. Can you please, because can you narrate it, Emil?
Oh, what was happening? Like
what was said?
He summarized everything that happened in the house.
Yes.
That Zandi was in the bathroom. Zandi, at the same time, she could see everything that was happening. She had a 360 view of everything that happened in the house. And then at the same time, the shots on the door, they do not make sense. The shots on the door, because when you look at the house, you enter.
People are inside.
Yes, and you enter by, is it the west, Unchonalanga?
Not unless they are saying that Senzo was the one who was on the other side who was on the door side, and then the guy who had a gun was the one facing the neighbors. And then when you shoot, but if you shoot, why was the bullet inside?
On the door.
That's another star. Hey.
And what happened to the tassel at the same time? Like, he has those questions, and the way he put them, it was beautiful. It was beautiful because I was like, I never actually thought about it that way.
Zanzi, hello. Let's give you time. Please switch off try to switch us off so that we can take your call.
Yes, the background noise. Every time you feel like you're going to dial and call us, switch the volume of the TV or the device you're listening to us, because it lags behind. Yes.
Zanzi Reality, hello.
Hi, Mr. Anonymous.
Hi, how are you?
Good evening. Fine, thanks. How are you?
We're all right.
Good evening, Emily.
Good evening.
All the way from Colombia. I just want to participate in the discussion.
Yes.
I think yesterday you played a clip of Zandile's interview.
Yes.
On one of the
ENCA
radio station or TV interviews. I replayed that interview, and then I think a lot of us missed that point where she stated that. Anyways, none of the guys were having dreadlocks at the time.
Did
That's
she
what
say
she
that?
said.
Did she say that?
I need to watch that
she said that, and I even replayed it twice. I said, did she just say that at the time they had all gained weight, nobody could recognize? In fact, none of them were having dreadlocks. And I thought to myself...
No, he's talking about the guys that were caught. They don't have dreadlocks.
the 5 accused.
The 5 accused.
Yeah, that's what we said in the interview with the TV station.
There's an allegation that one cut the dreadlock. Yeah, so due to time, I think change of style.
Yes, because she said, no, I wouldn't even recognize them. I mean, they had gained weight. And in fact, I'm so shocked, none of them had dreadlocks at the time. It's almost like she was saying that people are saying that there was an intruder with the dreadlocks inside. And then she was dismissing that, saying, no, there's actually no person there with dreadlocks. In fact, they were wearing balaclavas, and she couldn't recognize them. And she wouldn't recognize them. If they were put there, she wouldn't recognize them. So now I was thinking about how she would easily recognize this guy in court, and I'm thinking to myself,
no, he was talking about the ones that were arrested. Just to give you a clarity, there I heard that I've watched that he was talking about the ones that were arrested. He's saying that none of these guys that are there, and they look maybe they've also changed the size and all that. He was basically saying that. But while you are saying that, I wanna raise one thing. If they were wearing balaclavas, these people, how did they see all the dreads? And what about the hair? So we're wearing the hair and the balaclava.
Exactly.
That's my question.
Because
now that sort of throws away the head. But the problem is that what we are talking about right now is not part of the court proceeding. So they need to subpoena that video.
They need to subpoena
they have
that
to
interview.
actually and make her listen to it so that she can just give us the version which is correct. Is it what she said earlier or what she's saying in court? They have to subpoena that tape because that tape is so vividly clear.
Because even if they remove it, where does the head? So were they wearing balaclavas and then a hat on top of it? And I don't know, doesn't make sense to me.
Doesn't make sense, absolutely not. And the other point that I also wanted to raise is there's a lady that came in the show and she was saying that she's actually worried about Toko's life. The way that the testimony is going, which I'm trying to put 1 + 1 together, and I'm thinking, Toko's testimony is kind of the odd one out. It's almost like he's really scared to say what exactly happened, but he's dismissing it, some of the many things that the other witnesses said, because when he was asked, no, there's a witness that's going to come and she's going to say A, B, and C. In fact, it was put to him that Zandi is going to come and she's going to say A, B, and C. And then he bluntly said, no, that's not what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And he kept on saying, no, I was there and that is not how it happened. But I could sense that I could be wrong. It's also under allegedly. But I understand what the lady was saying, that he could be scared for his life. And he's not divulging everything that needed to be said. But his statement is really the odd one out. So that's all I think we've seen it.
Okay.
Yeah, those were my 2 cents.
Thank you very much.
Guys.
Thank you.
Hey, people are on fire today.
Hey, people are on fire today. Yo, guys. Yo, you are on fire, family. Even I haven't. Maybe it's because I'm dizzy because of Zandi's testimony. I'm very dizzy. I need a defense attorney to be on her. And I want them to ask her the details properly. Because there's a lot of information.
Zanzi, hello. Zanzi, hello.
Zanzi Reality, hi.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Njani?
Sikhona njani?
Khona. Bengicela kubuza ukuthi why bonke bakathwala babalekile.
Hey.
And he dropped like that. And that was a question. It's a question that we're gonna leave it. We're gonna leave it here. People must answer. That's funny. Yeah, and they're not related, and they're not
Okay, bagatwana babalekile. Flat.
Yeah, we had that. We had the Scotch hat. The Scotch hat comes in a form of when Zandi comes back.
Yeah.
And a bit of description there and there. There's scraped description. And then if you include that theory of balaclavas, it changes everything.
Guys, I'm dizzy. I'm
Zandi,
dizzy.
hello.
I'm dizzy with the
Zandi,
head.
hello.
I'm dizzy. Zandi Reality, hello.
Hi, how are you?
Ninjani?
Sikhona njani?
Niyaphila.
Sikhona mfowethu.
Nami ngicela ukuphawula nje kancane.
Paula.
Okay, yazi all this time benihleli ngizibuza ukuthi kanti umthobo yini engake yayingamenza ukuthi aze impela afike ekucabangeni ukuthi abulala uSenzo uLongwe yayingamenza ukuthi aza afike ukuthi acabanga ukuthi alwe noSenzo makuyikuthi kuyombulele uSenzo so bengayitholi answer up until today. Right? Ngicabange ku testimony kaZandi. uZandi ekhuluma noSlindele wathena uLongwe wayengaza umthobo wathena uLongwe ubengakaze ambone umbone first day ngeday ye-incident kwabo kaKheli angithi washo kanjalo umthobo i-testimony kaMthoko le
yebo
right
yeah
lamhlanje uZandi uthi ku interview kaZandi noSlindele uZandi wathi umuntu abeqala ukumbona nguTumelo the day beyomlanda but umthoko bebemazi because bebembone sebeke bambona before several times angithi and lokho kuyakholakala because umthoko was very close to Senzo so there is no way uSenzo ayengaze abe nomntwana noKheli umthoko angamazi uKheli understand ubebazi labantu so lamhlanje uZandi bayambuza lapha ekugcineni and mina ngazibuza ngathi ubaloyi kahle kahle abantu laba uyaba defender or uyaba expose because ekugcineni ubaloyi uthena umbuzile uZandi ukuthi on the 25th kwenzakalani angithi uZandi ke waqala unarrate bona baba besiyacula kuphi and then kwaba nemvula same story eyakhulunywa ngumthoko but and then ubalo uyambuza ukuthi uLongwe bewugcineni ukumbona before day incident wathi ngicina ukumbona nge-25th and uLongwe uzohamba before 12 ebusuku right so which means umthoko why no Senzo because that's the day alala khona kuphi endlini yakwaKheli and uZandi yasho ukuthi uLongwe wayekhona endlini kaKheli up until wahambe ebusuku angithi ngisebehlile ukuperforma lokho abakumele bakufanele bekwenze
yeah
so which means uLongwe washiya umthoko endlini kaKheli no Senzo so lapho kusho ukuthi uSenzo wasala nomthoko noKheli noZandi uLongwe lento neyayingasoze imphathe kahle yayingasoze so kusho ukuthi wahambe kwatile uNtongo wacabanga nje into leyo ukubulala nje I think wayenayo from the day before because ayengekaza aphathe kahle ukuthi ashiye umuntu wakhe nenye indoda you understand so the following day ye-incident kwenza isense ukuthi uLongwe wafika ekwatile because wayesazi ukuthi umfazi wakhe ulizolulele nalomuntu and uyabathola futhi manje sebathola lokho bebonke kushuthi kwabathi nje picture ukuthi labantu bavele balala bonke ngale kwaKheli and namhlanje babonke futhi lana you understand ukuthi kwenza isense ukuthi umuntu lo into yamkwatisa yamphatha kabi and ivele nje uma ubheka kwinto yakhona kuyakwatisa kanjalo so kuhle waqeda nje kuhle kwangiphi answer yonke ukuthi okay that is why Longwe into le imfanele ukuthi wayenza and I believe it ukuthi wayenza because ngendlela okwenzakala ngakhona izinto from isikhathi indaba yakhe ukuthandana noZandi plus nomthoko khona lapho umthoko nguyabulaliswa kulokho uZandi uSenzo hayi ukuthi umandisa what no ngulongwe straight ngendaba kaZandi.
Allegedly. Everything you say.
Allegedly, Mr.
Otherwise, they're coming for.
Ngiyabonga shemithini ngishela abanye nami ngitheke ngithi okungishisayo nami nje kancane.
Awusiyabonga.
Shazi lapha uthi Mr. Anonymous, do you ever agree when you are wrong? How do you know you are wrong, man? We are speculating here. Speculations. We are not talking with facts. We don't have facts.
We are speculating.
We can never reach a conclusion that is correct until
we are proven in the court process.
So our argument will always be left hanging in a sense, unless we persuade each other. It's an issue of persuading each other. And if you persuade me and I feel that, okay, yeah, I'm persuaded, okay, well and good. But if I don't feel like I'm persuaded, I'm not persuaded.
You are hardly persuaded,
yes.
Which is why I say, let's agree to disagree, and I move. I cannot. I'm more.
No, we that's the purpose of this show. I mean, if we knew everything, then we would have told you by now what is happening. Yeah, so because we're also using the information that we just research and there
from the witnesses.
We try to create the profile of these people and say as if we know them. We don't know them. We've never met them. So I mean that's where we are. So if you say wrong or right, that means then you know the answer. Therefore, then we must not even have that conversation. We must just tell people what is happening. In this case, we don't. In this case, we are just chilling, we are just discussing, and we persuade each other as if we're there. But we're not there.
We are speculating.
We are speculating. That's the purpose of this show.
And as people that are not in the situation, we can't do that.
Yes.
Everybody in the country right now who wants to know what happened to Senzo.
Even Zandi herself was doing that until he was stopped today.
Omandisaba ababuzwa ngani. Omandisaba ngani.
We are all trying to create a theory.
Exactly.
Maybe people have seen people relying on this show too much. In that sense that now they think what we say we know.
No,
we don't know anything.
We are just like you sitting at home. We are like you family. We just want to know and get to the bottom of the situation. So we're speculating and speculating.
And the fact that we don't agree, it makes our show look better.
And we as the members of the public have the privilege of using what was said before in the interviews and the radios and what we've seen in the public platforms that they have utilized, and we infuse it into the current testimonies that we are now hearing in court. We have that privilege, which our current court doesn't have right now.
Yes, Langs in Sambatek, as you put it, yes. That's basically it. We are not fighting here, guys. We are chilled. We do have arguments.
I think we are not used to seeing people debate. People always want to bring emotions in a debate. I've learned not to do that because you will be chowed.
Yeah, we deal with you.
You will look like a clown.
Through emotions.
You will look like a clown, so you must just compose yourself as much as you can. And if you feel like, okay, you're not managing to convince this person, otherwise, you just agree to disagree.
Just take, for example,
you leave it hanging.
I even said that law is all about that, actually.
Yes.
Because look at some of the conviction, some of the deliberation between Maumela and the guys. Some they don't agree.
Yes.
They even say, for argument's sake, we will let it be.
Let it be and move on.
And move on, my lord.
Because yes, there has to be movement in this thing. There has to be movement in this case.
Yeah, there must be.
Mm-hmm. And we've seen that there has to be movement indeed. Look at what just happened this week.
We are sitting it out.
We've lost 3 days.
Well, we will go back to this person. I was waiting for you.
We are speculating.
But then I'm waiting for you. Then you have sound
you're
behind.
Playing the background. My
Good
voice
evening.
is.
Good evening. How are you? Good morning.
I'm very fine.
Yes.
Yeah, I can shoot.
Yeah,
I
shoot.
should.
Yeah, you guys, you're doing a very good job. Let me comment on that.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. I just wanted to highlight this. I noticed that these intruders, they had more time in the house.
Yes.
When the Longwe left, they don't even fear that Longwe can actually report them. They had all this time to actually do everything. And the other issue is that these guys, the main aim when they come, they indicated that the intruders, they wanted their cell phones and money. But on the scene, we realized that on the Zandi's statement, witness, so she said the other phones were just lying somewhere, but these guys, they did not soak them.
Yes.
Actually, the question is, what were they looking for when they entered the house? Because they were supposed to collect all those phones and money and left the scene.
Yes.
So these guys, they had more time, whereby they even, when Senzo was already killed, lying in the sitting room there, where they also had time to actually even still tamper with everyone in the house. So, but the other question is that where was when the third bullet was fired? Where was Mtoko and the children there?
Yes.
Because we don't see them somewhere. And where was Mtoko and Batman? Because the rest, they actually ran away to the bedrooms. Where was Mtoko and the mother, Kelly's mother, and the children?
Oh, the other one from the interview was sleeping, right?
Was sleeping.
The baby.
And then the other one?
Tingo. And then the other one was the one being protected by Rambo Mtogo.
Mtogo said he took
There's
him
a lot
on
of
his
things
left.
that needs to be cleared out there. Yeah, the story is not adding up there.
No, it's not.
Hey, something will happen with this case. Yeah, that's why now, if you can see, there is a long adjournment, postponement, which is in question because they have to investigate further investigation. You see. And believe you me, what the other guy just entered and indicate, even myself allegedly, in this case, something will happen along the way before maybe we finish, because there's a lot of things that are going to happen the next coming weeks. You see, this case, something will happen on that case. So now I believe what Advocate therefore indicated that there was no intruder. There was a theory of Advocate therefore, still allegedly, that one bullet was actually hit the ground, and I believe maybe long way. He was the one who came with the gun, and he was furious or he was angry anyway. And then the first bullet went to the floor, and then the second one went to Senzo by mistake. That is allegedly.
Yeah. No, we get you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Guys, let us subscribe. Let us like. Let us chat. Let us do anything that we want to do. And again, for me, thank you guys.
Today I've taken a break from begging for likes.
We are begging. I'm begging. I'm still begging. I'm begging for subscribers.
We've taken a break, but yeah, those likes are wonderful. Keep them coming.
Thank you very much.
I don't want to beg, guys. Do you want me to beg?
Thank you very much, guys. I see that we are on 600 people, but we have 336. Can we push for that 400?
Can we push it to 4 at least? So that when we leave on a high note. Just push it to 4. 400.
Jessica Bradley, sure, okay. Here they are talking alone. Here is Nati Mkwanazi. Shazi kwi Netflix document mzilikazi wa Africa says it ukuthi Senzo was doing both. Sisters Kelly used to leave Senzo no Zandi, and Senzo instructed that Longwe's call be ignored. That's an allegation. Yes, it's true. We heard it from that source. That is true.
And if that allegation were to be put in a scenario, that would mean Long was very upset.
All these scenarios now and then they put...
It's not picking, your girlfriend you're calling in, they're not picking up your phone. If the allegation is true.
Very true. Let me see. Let me check this one. Zanzi Reality, hello.
Mr. Chov, good morning, Mr. Anonymous.
Morning.
And respective lady, Emily.
Hi.
Yeah, we are trying all we can to like, to share, and to obviously respect the amount of effort and time that you put into this show. And I can only pray and hope that let's get to 100 subscribers, 100,000 subscribers as soon as we can. Why? I believe this platform, it's a well-deserved platform to the nation, the more and the surrounding countries, and the more we hear such brains that you normally put in here, the better.
Thank you very much.
So, my name is always Kelani, one great fan of the channel, Kanelani. I appear on the channel as Kanelani Media there. So, I respect what you're basically doing. So, okay,
you said
you
appear as who?
As Kanelani Media Reloaded on
Fanelani Media Reloaded. Let us see. What do you do? Do you have a channel?
It's a small channel which is being technically mentored by this big one. So I'm just loving everything that I see. More especially the level of excellence, and I understand throughout the day with load shedding you cannot. It's almost practically impossible to put everything and script everything.
I'm trying to find your channel here. Maybe just type using it so that we post it here.
Okay.
And then
let me say hello while I'm So now I'm not coming to magnify my channel here. But what I'm coming here for is to respect and to obviously appreciate what you're basically doing. The amount of excellence here, from graphics, from the content on its own, the amount of respect that you are giving to us, towards us. You wake up 12 midnight after load shedding, and then you are live. First thing first, when you get to YouTube, is this channel around this time of the night. So it is alleged that as per yesterday that Mr. Anonymous, you fighting with the judge. It is alleged. All right. Okay, let's get to this match again and try to check up something.
Yes.
Mina, I want to get into the most complicated matter as far as this one is concerned, but let's look at the obvious. Let's forget we had an interview where last year she Miss Lorraine indicated that and digressed the attention to some other people.
Yes.
Like Bomandisa, Senzo's mom. Let's forget about those, and half the time the intruders were wearing masks and all of that. Perhaps maybe that one is a little bit complicated, that which will need the aspect to unveil. and now she can come to the to the court and point somebody who's half the time wearing mask.
Yes.
Let's forget about that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, I'm interested on the sound of the gun. The sound of the gun. How silenced was that gun? That 3 shot will be discharged. Nobody will respond. Nobody will scream. Nobody. It's a moment of silence.
Yes.
Is this house in an isolated space, like maybe those houses in the deep rural settlement in KwaZulu-Natal? The other house is there, the other house is there.
Yes.
It's difficult for the neighbors to reach. So three, even one is good enough to know that this is the gun. Obviously, people will respond instantly, and if ever it's next door, definitely.
Yes.
Because election, there's no way you will fire a gun, be it midnight, in the morning. It doesn't really matter. Somebody will hear, somebody will have to respond. So it's 3 sounds of a gun, and there's no help. There's no help to a point that you go as far as like going to the neighbors and ask for help. They didn't hear anything. I mean that to me it sounds very, very staged, and our brains can be easily massaged just like that. I'm not buying this drama of you coming and cry in court. After all, they were given enough years to rehearse everything. Wait, and I'm interested on how you go and pinpoint the great brains of you, and then maybe you pinpoint and highlight to us and emphasize wherever she wants us to, to be massaged, our brain to be massaged.
Yes.
The beautiful relationship, blah, 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 and whatnot. So, I'm just interested on just the sound of the gun. What then happened after the gun?
Yes.
That's what caught my attention. The rest of the logistics, it's more like a storytelling and whatnot. I'm not buying this. Let me just actually allow other people to, to share their brains.
Thank
and,
you.
and thank you so very much, Mr. Anonymous. Much.
Thank you.
Keep sharing and keep. But I pray that this channel should rapidly grow.
Thank you.
So the bigger the audience, the better.
Thank you very much.
Thank
and
you.
This channel should be the voice to the nation.
Thank you very much.
Supposed to be.
Thank you very much.
Much appreciated. Thanks.
Yes. Sorry about that, guys, that you couldn't hear some towards the end. But that being said, guys, that's a channel of someone. We always promote people who are coming in the right way. This is the channel that is pinned there, up there. It's Kanelani Media Reloading. And if you find the content interesting, check it out and subscribe.
Yes.
We support each other in a right way. We don't combine in group. We are obviously coming independently, but people who come this way, I always appreciate people who come with the true face. Thank you very much, sir. And we are going to check your channel. I'll personally go check and subscribe. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And yes, guys, continue sharing, continue subscribing. This is a channel about us and about our problems.
Thank you, guys. From me, Emily. Thank you, Nati, Mkwanazi, and then Sizwe. Thank you, guys. You've always been there, and now it's a bye from me. I think it has been nice. It was. I don't want to take 5 hours. We could continue.
We could go on and on, but let us wrap it up.
Let us wrap it up for now, and then until the next live, and let us subscribe on our way out and like the video. And then check the channel again out of Kanelani Media. Please check it out and subscribe if you feel that this is what you want. Don't just subscribe for the sake of subscribing. Subscribe if you feel that that's what you want to watch.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
And at the same time, if you feel that there's something we should go live or worthy of setting up a live stream for, you can forward it on our WhatsApp line. You can use the number that's scrolling down below on the screen and tell us what you think.
Thank you.
Yeah. Until next time. Bye.